Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're out at the range to talk about a handgun that doesn't get enough attention in my opinion, and that is the Arex Delta. The Delta's been on the market for a few years now, and we've been shooting them here at the Military Arms channel for a couple of years. They've been reliable, very ergonomic, easy to shoot handguns. Now, Global Ordnance is bringing in a new version of this pistol, and that's what I have here in my hands today. And this is the new tactical version. It has a red dot sight and a threaded barrel on it. So we're gonna do some shooting with it, talk about the features of the tactical. And then also I wanna thank our friends over at Norma for supplying the ammunition free of charge to the channel. It would be our highest reoccurring cost, but thanks to Norma, we can bring you these videos and be able to shoot plenty of ammo to get an idea of how these firearms work. So again, thank you to Norma. With that being said, let's do some shooting and talk more about the new tactical version of the Delta. For many years now, I've been advocating for red dot sights on handguns. I believe that's the future of aiming devices for pistols. Now, a lot of folks will argue they're not necessary, and it's true, they're not necessary, but then red dot sights on rifles aren't necessary, magnified optics on rifles aren't necessary, but what they do is increase your hit probability, and that's no different for a handgun. If you learn how to use a red dot sight, you'll find that you shoot it faster and more accurately, at least most of the people I encounter, and it certainly makes a difference for me. So that's something you may want to try out. Now, the red dot sight I have mounted to this particular pistol is a Holosun 507C X2, but this one has the Vulcan reticle in it, which we'll try to get a shot of here so we can show you what that looks like. Basically, you have a big outer ring and then a chevron in the center. And one of the biggest problems people have with transitioning to red dot sights is not being able to find the dot when they present the pistol. So they're not used to finding the dot quickly. With that big outer ring, when you have a perfect sight picture, you don't even see it. But if you have the gun slightly canted one way or the other, you're gonna see the outer edge of that ring. It's gonna give your mind a visual cue. Oh, if I see it up here on the upper right, I gotta go upright to see the chevron, and you can quickly find that red dot, or in this case, a chevron. So this is a great aid for those of you learning red dot sights, but it's also a nice aid for more experienced shooters in case they get into a heat of the moment type of thing and they can't find their dot for whatever reason. Now, this pistol has that optics cut, obviously. This is not new to the tactical, but it is included in the tactical version of the handgun. Then you have the slightly longer threaded barrel, which is threaded 1/2 by 28. This handgun is one of two different sizes that are available. We have the M version here, which has the slightly shorter grip, but even though that grip is slightly shorter, my hand is completely supported by the grip. So I like this particular size. Now, if you go to the slightly longer grip, the X version of this gun, that grip frame is going to be slightly longer. Everything else, I believe, is the same. I don't have it here, but I'm pretty sure the barrel length and everything is the same on the X version. It's just that grip that gets longer. You also have different colors of grips for the gun, and that includes flat dark earth, black, and then, of course, green. You do have replaceable back straps on it, has good texturing, and the gun is fully ambi. By that, I mean it has a slide stop, slide release on both sides of the gun. So, as you can see, I can drop the slide or lock it open by the slide stop on the right-hand side, and I have it on the left-hand side as well. You have a magazine release, which you can push from either side of the gun, which also aids in that ambi functionality. The grip of the gun is very ergonomic, has a natural grip to it. The texturing, again, is very good. It's not too aggressive. And then out here, you have kind of a place where you can feel that texturing, so you can index your shooting finger, so you keep it off the trigger, or when you get a grip on the gun, you can feel it with your thumb on that ledge, and you know you got a good solid grip on the pistol. The serrations are both fore and aft, and they are really sharp, easy to use serrations, but they're not overly done, and it's always been a selling point for the gun, for me anyway. The triggers on the Deltas, you do want to shoot them, they'll kind of wear in a little bit. Right out of the box, the trigger's a little bit gritty, it'll kind of pop, go back to a shelf, and then break with minimal over travel. Once you shoot it quite a bit, that'll kind of smooth out. That's just basically plastic on plastic rubbing against itself there. This particular gun also has metal sights, which are tall suppressor height sights. And what's really nice about the Delta is that, unlike companies such as Walther, they include a bunch of different mounting plates that accommodate most of the red dot sights that are out there. Companies like Walther will sell you a nice expensive handgun that comes with no mounting plates. Then you have to scan a QR code on a little thing, the insert that's in the gun's box, and then go to a website, order your free mounting plate, wait a week or two before you can put the red dot sight on your gun. Less than ideal in my opinion. I like it when companies include multiple different mounting plates, and this one does. All right, so on top here we have a loaded chamber indicator, which will stick up when there's a round in the chamber. You can see it or run your finger across the back side here of the ejection port and feel if the gun is loaded. This is the magazine for the gun, this one has the +2 base plate on it. So it adds 2 rounds to the magazine. It normally holds 15, but with the extended base plate, it can hold 17. I think I only had 15 loaded, but that gives you an idea of how the gun shoots. Shoots very flat, very controllable, and the trigger is pretty good for a striker fired pistol. I think it's a little bit better than the Glock triggers right out of the box. Here's the flush fit magazine, and when it's in the gun, that's 15 rounds, and it fits flush. Then you have the X model, which is the size up from this, which has a slightly longer grip frame, and this is the magazine that goes to the X. So it's 17 + 2, so 19 rounds. And when I insert this, this gives you an idea of just how much longer the X frame is. So it'll come down to about the top of this +2 base plate. So that's about how long the grip is. So with everything from the replaceable back straps and the really nice checkering stuff like this is a very nice shooting handgun, and certainly one of the better polymer framed pistols out there on the market, in my opinion. Let's go over what the gun ships with in the box, then let's do a quick field strip of the handgun. So this is the box the gun will come in, and it is not airline safe or approved. So you'll want to pick up a different box if you're going to travel with it and check the gun in. You open the box up, and inside you'll have a quick start guide that gets chewed up pretty quickly. And then you'll have the pistol. The pistol will have a magazine in it, the flush fit magazine. You have spares over here, a cleaning kit, and then right here it's pre-cut for a red dot sight. But since I didn't have one on it, it's just a pre-cut foam piece. When I put the red dot sight on, I peel that foam out, and there you go. The factory box now works with the red dot sight. You'll also have the mounting plates that I was talking about, and these again will fit most of the popular brands out there. And then you have the lock, and one other thing that's nice that's available for the gun is a 20-pound recoil spring. Now I have the 20-pound spring in the gun. It ships with a 17-pound spring, and why would you want to change your springs out? Well, you can tune the gun for a suppressor, or you can tune it to the ammunition that you're using, so you have that option of changing the spring rates. And then in the top here, we have 3 different grip backstrap replacements, and the 4th one is already on the gun. Now I found that the one that it ships with is perfect for my big hands, but you have that option. Now the good thing about the Delta is it's been on the market long enough, and some really good companies out there like A&R Design make holsters for it. So this is an appendix carry holster, and this is a really solid holster design. A&R has been making holsters for a number of years, and I've been using their holsters for a number of years as well. So it's a nice holster, fits perfectly. This one has a high sweat guard on it, so the gun doesn't touch your body when you're sweating. You secrete salt and moisture, which can cause some guns to corrode. But yeah, nice Kydex holster. And then I also just want to mention that I love Global Ordnance because they sent me this patch. Let's go, GO for Global Ordnance, Brandon. Pretty funny. So let's field strip the gun here really quick. I'll show you what that looks like. Field stripping is going to be very familiar to you if you've ever taken a polymer framed striker fired pistol apart before. So we're going to start off by dropping the magazine out of the gun, locking to the slide to the rear to make sure that that chamber is empty. I'm going to point the gun in a safe direction, and I'm going to release the striker by pulling the trigger. Now I'm going to slightly pull the slide to the rear while I'm pulling down on these tabs, which is very reminiscent of a Glock disassembly procedure. So I'm going to pull back slightly, pull down on the tabs, let it go forward, but unlike a Glock that slides all the way off its rails, this one's kind of slightly go forward, and then it'll just lift up and off the frame. Now, again, these grip frames are replaceable by the end user. You just knock out a couple of pins, and you can put different sized grip frames on here and different colored grip frames. After that, you take your captive recoil spring and guide rod, which is metal, which is nice. And then we have a Browning type action. I do have to unthread or unscrew the thread protector, as I was there. All right. And then you can take the barrel out of the slide. Very simple Browning type action, thus contributing to the reliability of the pistol. So very easy to do. Now when you go to put it back together, you just kind of set it on top and push it back until it kind of drops into place. Hold on, I can get it pushed down and back, and it just locks into place. So you don't have to slide it all the way across the frame rails there. And then put your thread protector back on. So very, very simple takedown procedure, which lends itself to regular maintenance. If you're going to use this as a carry gun, I highly recommend you keep your carry gun clean and serviced well. Let's do a little bit of shooting with the gun with the suppressor on it. This is a Black Hawk suppressor. It's no longer made, but it's very similar to the Omega 9K from Silencer Co. We've chosen it because it's a big, heavy suppressor. You will need a Nielsen device / booster for it to work on this gun because it is a Browning action. On top, this Holosun from Primary Arms is an outstanding choice for this particular handgun because on its mounting plate, the chevron sits just above the silencer. Because this thing is so big in diameter, even the suppressor height sights set just about the same height as the can, so you have to get creative with your aiming. But with the red dot sight, this particular Holosun, again, that chevron is above the silencer, so I have a clean sight picture. I have some 124 grain ball from Norma, and we do have the 20-pound spring in the gun. So those are supersonic loads, so you will hear the bullet cracking downrange. Keep in mind these microphones don't really accurately reproduce the sound the gun's making with a suppressor on it. I should mention that the gun has another color option that's available for it, I forgot to mention, which is a gray color, which has been a popular color for a few years now. So the gun comes to market at $629.99, which makes it fairly competitive in terms of pricing with the features that it has. Again, we've been shooting these Deltas for many years now, and they've always been top shelf performers in terms of reliability. You will find that they'll feed most defensive ammunition, hollow points or otherwise. And of course, they feed the ball ammunition that we are shooting out here today, which was comprised of Norma 115 grain and 124 grain ammunition. So with all that being said, do I like the Delta? Yes, I've liked it since the Gen 1 guns. I really like the Gen 2, and the Tactical is a nice touch if you run suppressors. And again, we chose that heavy suppressor on purpose. There are smaller, lighter cans on the market, which will then just kind of aid in function of the gun. Keep in mind that weight on the end of the barrel kind of wants to hinder the operation of the gun, which is why we're using the heavier spring in it to get it to function reliably. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. If you'd like to support us here at the Military Arms channel, the best possible way to do that is to become part of our Patreon family. There is a link in the video description below. Also, right here on YouTube, you got that little join button underneath the video player you're watching right now. Mash that join button, and you can support us right here on YouTube in the age of demonetization. Last but not least, swing by, check out Copper Custom. Thank you for 14 years of support, and we'll talk to you guys soon.